What's going on, everybody? On today's episode, we're finally going to see what the GTI is made of. Let's go. Thank you to the awesome people at Eurotuning for supporting this channel. So real quick, before we get into the driving footage of the GTI on back of the Dragon, a couple things that I want to address first. Number one, you probably saw that the car was missing side skirts at the end of the last video. That's because I sold the Thunder Bunny skirts that were on the car a while ago, maybe a month or two ago, and just didn't have any skirts for a while. That is because I had a set of Rieger skirts that were in paint. They were in paint for a very long time. So I finally have those on the car to complete the Rieger kit around the car. I absolutely love the way that this transforms the look of the car. The body line now matches that front lip that we have. I'm able to maintain some really nice body low, but also I'm not slammed to the point where my suspension doesn't have proper travel. So we've got that nice, sleek, low body line, but I'm also able to have an appropriate ride height so I can run the meaty tires so my suspension can articulate the way that it needs to. And frankly, I just could not be any happier with how this car looks. I have loved the Rieger kit since I saw it on my buddy's Mark 7, and then I looked into it and saw that they had a Mark 6 kit, and I've wanted one ever since. It's been a number of years that I've wanted this kit, and so now I finally have it on the car, and I just could not be happier. Number two, I had a company reach out. They wanted me to test out some LED bulbs that they sell, and so here is the footage from that. So check it out. Oxalam sent me a set of their LED lights for my fog lights. So I already have bi-xenons for my high and low beam. I actually already have LED turn signals, and I already have LED tail lights, but my fog lights are still the factory halogen bulb, and they don't burn bright. The color is way off compared to the low beam and the DRLs, and I just don't like them. They just make the car feel very old and dated. So Oxalam reached out. They wanted me to try a set of their LED lights for my fog lights. They also sent some CAN bus adapters so that we don't get the crazy flicker or any errors on my dash. So I have yet to put these in. I'm gonna install them, and we're gonna see if what they advertise is true. We're gonna make sure that they work and that we don't get any errors on the dash. There's nothing I hate more than dash lights on my car. I pride myself in doing this swap, and there are no faults, no dash lights, and so the last thing I want to do is put in some bulbs that cause a silly little bulb out error. So let's put these to the test and see if they work. Check this out. I was replacing this one. What's going on there? How's that happen? It worked too. This is what it's supposed to look like. What's going on? How does it get like that? Odd. Another reason to switch to these instead. So here's the difference. That is the factory halogen or incandescent bulbs. You can see they're not very bright, and they also burn very yellow, especially compared to the daytime running lights. And there is the LED bulb. So nice, bright, crisp light, and it matches my DRLs. Way happier with that. Now I can get the other side in. I got my fog lights on and my ignition's on. We don't have a bulb out error. Shout out to Oxalam. So far, advertised as true. We do not have any dash lights. So guys, Oscar wants you to know that if you want to get some bulbs for your VW, or for any car for that matter, there is a link in the description. And if you use coupon code CHOBYSPEC, then you can get 20% off of your order. And thank you once again to Oxalam for supporting the channel. Before we get real deep into this driving footage, just wanted to address something. The audio footage from this drive was not the best. I understand there's a lot of equipment, better cameras and better microphones that I need to buy if I want to be doing footage like this more often, but I'm just making do with what I have. I understand this is not the best footage, but it's the best that I can do for now. I did blend the audio from my buddy Matt, who is behind me on the drive back down. I did blend the audio from his dash cam footage, and so if you hear something that sounds like a 2-liter, it's because it's his car. He has a really nice full bolt-on IS-38 Mark 7 that could walk my car, to be quite honest. So Matt, thank you for wanting to be behind me on the drive down. You did help out with the footage big time. So again, y'all, sorry that the footage is not the best. Sorry that the audio quality is not the best, but I hope sometime in the future I can upgrade my equipment and take some better quality videos for y'all. So in the meantime, enjoy the footage, and if you want to skip the driving, you can go to this time marker right here and get my thoughts on the build so far. All right, so we yanked off our air ride. We put on different wheels. We got wider, sticky tires. How did the car do? What do I think of the car thus far? In short, do I miss being on air? No. Again, I'm not by any means trying to knock on air ride, but I don't miss it. It was a really cool 5 or 6 years on air. I was able to do a lot of amazing things with the car and meet a lot of amazing people. And I do not regret a single thing I've ever done with this car, but this current era of the car is certainly the happiest I've been with it. I was able to do things on Back of the Dragon that I just haven't been able to do with the car before. The Silvers Neomax Euro Tuning Edition coilovers, they are it. They are legit. Paired with the spring rates we did, paired with the Swift Spring upgrades, and the fact that they are a digressive valve coilover, I am just absolutely floored by these. So a digressive coilover is let me try and explain this in a really simple way because I didn't quite understand what they were at first. Essentially, when you have slow shock piston velocities, the coilover is going to soften up and the dampening is going to be a lot more relaxed. It's going to be a much softer coilover. So if I'm taking it easy or if I'm on a really smooth road and I'm just kind of putzing along, the car is very soft. The car kind of floats a little bit. The car is very, very comfortable. But in an instant, if I were just to sling it around a corner or accelerate very aggressively around a corner, or if I were on more uneven terrain, or if I were to come across even like a pothole suddenly, the piston velocities obviously are going to be a lot quicker. And so with faster piston velocities within the coilover, the dampening is going to get a lot sportier, a lot firmer, a lot more compliant, a lot more direct, a lot more confidence inspiring. And so it's like the best of both worlds, but this is all done analog with fluid dynamics. So again, like I wouldn't hesitate to throw these on a daily driven car. Would not hesitate one bit. They're phenomenal when driven softly. And then again, if you want to, have a little rip in the mountains, they can do that too. This thing did awesome. This thing did awesome on Back of the Dragon. I definitely need to adjust my tire pressures. Again, this is all stuff that I'm just now kind of learning for the first time, how critical tire pressure is on an aggressively driven car. So I cold filled these to 38 PSI. That was probably honestly about 8 to 10 PSI too high. Probably need to cold fill these to about 28 to 30 PSI. Again, we have a 225/35 on an 18 by 8.5. So I had some numbness on center, but again, this suspension, once I would load it up, in a corner, once I would load it up, it would just pick a line and follow it perfectly. So believe with a little less PSI in the tires, we can get rid of that numbness, and this thing will be just sharp as a tack. Super direct on center, snappy. Again, just pick a line and it'll take it. Overall, just the car felt way more compliant. I felt way more in control. I was very confident behind the wheel. By no means was I driving at 10 tenths. I don't know what this car's 10 tenths is yet. Keep in mind, I've only really been behind the wheel of this setup for about a month. So the way that the car feels, the way that everything reacts is all very new to me. And so the last thing I want to do is sling this thing around a mountain road a little too hard and regret it. This is exactly what I set out to do with this car, was to make it a cruiser and make it a mountain carver. And I think as the car sits, we're 60 to 70% of the way there. So with all the great things that I have to say about this setup, there is one glaring flaw with this car, and it's a pretty critical one, and that is brakes. We have the Porsche 986 brakes up front, and while they are awesome for a stancy car, because again, they fit behind small wheels, while they're awesome for a street car or a street car that's driven a little bit hard, they're perfectly fine for that. But if I'm going to be hitting up back roads at the aggressive level that I was, we need to upgrade our front brakes. There was definitely a couple moments where they were faded, where I did not think they were going to stop me around a corner, and I got scared. So have a couple ideas in my mind. So as I continue to hone in on exactly what setup I want to do, then Euro Tuning, they're going to jump on board. They're going to get us some parts that we need to accomplish what we need to do with the brakes. But definitely a big flaw. But again, this is why we do this in steps. I'm not the slightest bit upset. This is a desirable brake kit. I know that I can flip them and get some good money back, and then we can put that money towards a new brake setup. So that is going to do it for this video. Once again, guys, a huge thank you to Silver Suspension North America, and a huge thank you to Euro Tuning for supporting the channel, for getting us the parts that we need. One thing that I failed to mention before, not only is Euro Tuning supporting this channel, and which is, I am forever thankful for that, and I really hope that that comes across on camera. I never thought I would be in a position where companies like Euro Tuning want to work with such a little YouTuber like me, and so I have so much gratitude for them, but not only because they're helping me and because they're just an awesome parts vendor, but Euro Tuning is super important to dub culture as a whole. In case y'all didn't know, they are the title sponsor for a lot of huge shows on the East Coast, one of which being Alpine Volksfair, which is one of my favorite shows to go to. They're also the title sponsor for Wookiees in the Woods. Those two shows are probably my two favorite VW events to go to. Those events happen in large part to Euro Tuning. So I hope that y'all go shop with Euro Tuning, go support them, because they also support the community that we all love as well. Shout out to Euro Tuning and to Silvers. Thank you so much for watching. Please consider subscribing if you haven't already. It is the #1 way that you can help the channel. And the next time I see y'all, we're going to be adding 2 more driven wheels to this car. So stay excited. I'll see you on the next one.